Back in the playing hall in Vaikunse, Praggnanandhaa has just made his move. His sister Vaishali, back there in the distance, playing in the Challengers tournament. And well, we predicted that the G6 pawn would drop. Now Praggnanandhaa trying to figure out, is there a way to stop this passed pawn on E3? If the rook comes to E6, slides behind the pawn, it's very simple. E2, rook F1 check, E1 equals queen. Black will go up a full rook. So, Yanni, it really feels like there's no way to catch that pawn.
No, and you can't move your bishop because the king makes contact with the rook. You have to move your rook. The only other feasible square is G1. So maybe it's worth trying rook G1. And then after E2, the benefit of putting your rook on the first rank is that rook F1 no longer comes with a check. So perhaps, Robert, rook G1, E2, you could swing the bishop back to B5, and rook F1 in that position doesn't actually work because the bishop defends the F1 square via the X-ray. You actually take on F1, and then you take again once black promotes to the queen. So, Pragg, kind of looking up at his opponent, does rook G1 offer any off chances, or is there a crusher there?
Well, that's such a wonderful line. I think we should show what you were just mentioning. That first, let's start with rook E6, just to show why this doesn't work. We're saying E2, bishop B5 to go after the pawn, and then rook F1 is check. The king moves to the second rank. You promote, and white has to give up the rook. That's just a winning position for black. So that doesn't work. But you made a really instructive point about rook G1, because after E2, and we see him play rook G1. After E2, bishop B5, rook F1 is, he plays E2.
Oh my God, there's a...
what are you seeing here?
I think there's an amazing tactic. And I think you have to find this. There's rook H2 check.
Oh! That's sick.
There's rook H2 check.
Oh my gosh. Because if king takes bishop G1 is check, so you can't take the pawn, and that means a queen will appear on E1.
Oh my gosh. We're going to see that.
We are. Look at Parham.
He's played bishop E5, rook H2.
And resignation, Parham Maghsoodloo with a tactical shot to win an impressive game. He signed the score sheet with emphasis, and he takes down Praggnanandhaa.
And you know what's crazy, Robert? Rook H2 might have been the only winning move, because if you play bishop to C3 and say, I want to avoid the tricks, you can see the eval bar shooting all the way back up. Why? Because white gives the bishop up for one pawn and then swings the rook up and wins the other pawn. There's no way to defend F5. And as we know, rook and bishop versus rook is a draw. So that's actually what Parham was calculating all the way back when he played 48 bishop d4. How freaking impressive is that?
That's so ridiculous. Just to go a half step back there, as you were pointing out earlier, rook F1 does not work because the bishop eyes the F1 square through the E2 pawn. So after rook to F1, white is able to capture that rook and win the pawn. And then you see it's just a situation where, all right, even endgame. Bishop's of opposite color, it's going to be a draw. So that is unbelievable that he had to see rook H2 check. In this moment, it's much easier. It's like someone tapping you on the shoulder, doing a puzzle. Okay, you see that. But go back to when he went bishop D4, Danya. He had to see